And welcome to the Mylocalradio student section. I'm Aaron Poling, joined by Anthony Colasuno, as we have a good show for you on tap, as we have a couple more interviews from the Rich High School production of Mamma Mia, as we'll get to those real quick. As first, Anthony, it's a nice Wednesday.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
So first on tap, we have Easton Ebor with his interview, and then a couple more afterwards. We'll go to that first interview right now.
With Easton Eborn, who played Sam Carmichael in the Rich High School production of Mamma Mia. Easton, now that it's over, how do you feel it went?
I felt like it went pretty good. I think we did a lot of stuff right and learned all our stuff, got our characters right, I guess.
So what from your own personality do you think you could bring to the character of Sam Carmichael?
I guess I'm pretty silly, and to put it simply. I did a lot of stupid stuff that wasn't supposed to be there, but it was kind of funny. So
For next year, if you could play one character in any musical or play that you've seen on stage, what character would that be?
that's a hard question.
We only ask the hard ones.
Dang it. Oh, actually, I've got one. I feel like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast would just be the funnest ever. I don't know. I think it'd just be really cool.
You know, I can see that. I can definitely see that one, that's for sure. What would you say your favorite play or musical that you've ever seen is?
I've seen so many. I really liked West Side Story. I saw it on Disney with my sisters, and only saw like little parts of it, and then I watched the whole thing once, and it was really good.
So musical is one of those things that's really interesting because it brings a lot of different groups of people together. You have basketball players, wrestlers, cheerleaders. You have people in the band as well. What about coming together and getting on stage brings all these people together?
I don't know. I guess it's just acting, you know. A lot of people like acting, and it's all acting and singing and all doing stuff that's just really fun. I think that kind of brings everyone together.
So take me through some of the challenges of doing a production at Rich High School. As I just mentioned, there's people from everywhere, and those seasons end only about 2 weeks right before the opening weekend of the musical. What challenges do you guys face in having to navigate all those schedules?
Well, obviously, you know, there's always time, and we struggle a lot getting everyone to the practices and making it their most important thing, and because usually it isn't, you know, because you got sports and stuff going on. And I guess also there's choreography is always a struggle, and it's fun.
One final question for you, Easton. For someone who is on the fence about joining the musical next year, what advice would you give them?
Oh, do it, 100%. It's super fun, and even if you're really awful at it, you'll probably have a good time.
So, funny story about Mr. Eborn. Well, I guess this is Mr. Eborn Jr. as we're talking about Easton Eborn. But at the end of the show, they do a big dress-up part where, you know, they come out, they sing 3 different songs, and then, first it's Donna and the Dynamos that come out and they sing Dancing Queen. And then here come the 3 love interests, Bill Austin, Harry Headbanger, and Sam Carmichael. They all come out and they join on stage. Well, Easton Eborn, the first time he goes out night 1, has he looks like a baseball player, man. He's got 3 of his top buttons unbuttoned. And for him, I don't know if it's unfortunate or not, but he's a young man with a lot of chest hair.
Yeah.
You could see it. And, you know, I was trying to convince him while they were eating lunch one day that each show he should take one button progressively down lower until you get to the final show where you should just walk out with your shirt tucked in but none of your buttons buttoned. And I thought that would have been funny, but of course his mom and dad were in the lunchroom when we were talking about this, and they're like, "Don't encourage it.
Don't encourage it."
And I just thought he brought a lot of personality to the character of Sam Carmichael, and you know, I thought a lot of it was Easton Eborn being Easton Eborn, and you know, all 3 of the love interests for the mom, Donna. They're all all the kids, him, Boston Jolly, Taylor Walker, which we'll have an interview with Boston later. Yeah, those guys, you could just tell how much they enjoyed being around each other and how much, they brought that into the 3 characters and made it so much fun. Let's go ahead and move along to our next interview, as this is Peyton Clough, who was Sophia in the second night of the play, as we'll go to the interview right now.
Here with Peyton Clough, who played Sophie in this year's production of Mamma Mia, put on by Rich High School. Peyton, now that it's over, how do you feel about it?
I feel like it went really well for both casts. I I was really thoroughly impressed because we honestly went into it a little worried, but I think it went really well, and I'm kind of just relieved to be done with it.
So take me through your character. Obviously, Sophie is the love interest of Sky and the daughter of Donna. But what about that character really stands out to you?
She has a very, very bubbly personality, and I feel like I can relate to that because I'm kind of a bubbly person when you get to know me, and she's just really interested in trying to make everyone happy, and I don't know, she's just a very inviting character.
So my next question is, what from your personality can you bring to the character of Sophie?
I don't know, I'm very bubbly, and she's also very bubbly.
So if you could pick one character in any production that you could play, what character would you pick?
If Tangled was a musical production, I would love to be Rapunzel.
I can see it. So next year, what is one production that you think you would want to do?
I would honestly be down for anything. I've always found Newsies a very, very incredible production, and I'd love to be Catherine, but I also feel like Catherine isn't necessarily my personality, so I think it would be an interesting take for me to do.
You know what's funny is you're the third person that I've interviewed, and two of them have said Newsies. So I think we got to get on Mr. Wood, see if we can possibly get that one for next year. So take me through, after the production's over, take me through some of the memories that you'll have from this year's production.
There's just so much team building, like building with all of your castmates, and I think I'm definitely going to take a lot of friendships that I didn't start with going into it, and just like messing up. It's just the mess of musical, and just bringing everyone together is a lot of fun.
So in musical, it seems that a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds all come together for one goal, and that's to put on the show. Just take me through the group of students that you guys had this year.
So we had some football players, like new freshmen who have literally never done musical before. We had cheerleaders, we had basketball players, and we're all just coming from our different sports, still trying to put this production on while doing our sports. But you really just become like a family because you're together so much and you're all doing the same thing. It's like any other sport, but in a different aspect.
One final question for you. For anyone on the fence about doing theater or musical next year, what advice would you give them?
Just come with an open mind, because it can be very overwhelming, but it also is just really rewarding in the end, and the performances are really enjoyable.
Awesome. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Once again, we want to thank Peyton Clough for being a part of today's show, and we want to thank all the kids that sat down and did interviews, especially after it was over, because this is such a passion project for these kids. They put so much work into it. It's almost a shame all the work they put into it that in one weekend it's done.
Yeah, but also I feel like these interviews, like, it's the, topping on top of the ice cream for these kids that they can go
the chocolate
back.
syrup is what
exactly.
it is.
It's a chocolate syrup.
There we go.
On top of the ice cream for them, that they get to, have fond memories and go back on this and be like, oh, I had fun, doing this or doing that or helping set up this. Just all the hard work that goes into these type of performances.
Yeah, and just being around the kids for 3 days straight and the 4 performances with 2 on Saturday, you kind of get a sense of like how much effort they put into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the choreography was done by students.
Yeah.
And that's just such an amazing task that they're able to do that and just get it all put together. And Mamma Mia is not an easy production to get done, especially when 2 weeks prior to opening weekend, you have half your cast either down at state playing in the band or down at state playing basketball.
Yeah.
It's just not an easy task. And then you go a week before that, a lot of the cast is at wrestling states as well. Mm-hmm. And it's just such an amazing thing that these kids are able to do. But we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we will hear from Boston Jolly, as he played Harry Headbanger in the 2024 Rich High School production of Mamma Mia. This is the My Local Radio student section.
Hey there, I'm Jake Major, your local Medicare and insurance benefits advisor for the Bullock Agency of Wyoming. With over 25 years of experience protecting families in rural America, we understand the importance of having affordable insurance coverage. Whether you're searching for extra coverage or looking to understand and switch your Medicare options, I can help you find a range of top-rated insurance companies and tailor-made packages based on your needs. Call me, Jake Major, today at 307-209-4685, and let's discuss your insurance options. We're the Bullock Agency of Wyoming, when benefits matter.
When you have an emergency, choose Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Open 24/7, the professional emergency room staff is trained for trauma, medical, cardiac, pediatric, orthopedic, and obstetric emergencies. Bear Lake Memorial is a critical access level 3 trauma center, offering immediate access to radiology, lab services, surgery, and internal medicine consults. The ER teams are well-trained professionals who are ready to act when you have an emergency. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, the most caring hospital on earth.
Out here, we've always worked remote. Out here, stress usually refers to the pull on a rope. Where a stroll in the city is also a stroll in the great outdoors. Where work is a way of life, and life is good. Out here, the backyards are big, and the deals, they're even bigger. This is southwestern Wyoming, and it's where you can get the biggest deals on a vehicle you want with plenty of hometown hospitality. Heritage Auto, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Welcome back live into the My Local Radio student section presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, and also special thanks to some of our sponsors, First Bank of Wyoming, Les Schwab, Union, and T7 Propane. And Aaron, we got a couple more interviews on tap here. Take us through who is going to be our next interviewee.
Yeah, it's going to be Boston Jolly, who is a kid that every time he sees me, no matter what he's doing, whether it's defensive line drills in football or listening to the coach in track yesterday, every time he sees me, oh, hey, Aaron. And it's so funny because, like, the first time he did it in football, I was like, hey, man, like, you're in the middle of drills.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate it. But no, it's just the type of kid he is. He's such a nice kid. He's a really good athlete as well. He's a great defensive lineman. Was awesome for the for the Rebels this year. See, they got me going back and forth between Evanston Soccer and Rich High School. And myself and Coach Richards were talking about it during one of the soccer game breaks. There's really not that many letters off between Rebels and Red Devils.
That's very true.
They both start with R-E. You flip that B around
And they
into
end
a
with
D.
S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just my little pea brain can't comprehend sometimes.
Also, there's an L somewhere in there as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just I'm not that smart to begin with, and now my brain's just the hamster's falling off. It needs water, but more on Boston Jolly. He's just a terrific kid, and he's such a good performer too that he makes the character his own, and he talked in a British accent throughout, and I thought he did a really good job, and I think he brings a lot of character to this character, and I think this was a really good role for him, as he's kind of I don't want to say that Boston is weird, but the character of Harry Headbanger used to be a guitarist, and now he's kind of a London banker who's a little on the eccentric side, and I thought Boston did a good job portraying that. Let's hear from him. I'm here with Boston Jolly, who played Harry in this year's Rich High School production of Mamma Mia. Boston, now that it's over, how do you think it went?
I feel like the first nights were a little rough and we messed up a few things, but as soon as we got the ball rolling on those last couple of nights, we did really well. We really brought it together in the last few weeks with everyone being gone in the weeks before, but I feel like we really got down and worked hard and remembered our lines and our songs and acted well and did a good job.
So take me through some of the challenges of doing a musical here at Rich High School, because you were down at wrestling state finals a couple weeks before the musical went on. The basketball team was at state finals a week before everything went on. So what challenges do you guys face?
Yeah, just like you said, lots of people are gone all the time. So with many people being gone, there's only a few that are at certain times, like only the basketball players are there when the wrestlers are gone, or only the wrestlers are there when the basketball players are gone. So we only have a set number of people, but usually it's enough to get rolling on their part, and then when we have the other half the next week, it's good to get rolling on the other people's parts, and then we just really get to understand how each person works. And I feel like we're missing a bunch of people, and it's really hard to get a musical together fast, missing people, but we usually pull it together with those last couple of weeks when we're all together.
So what from your own personality were you able to bring to the character of Harry Headbanger? He's a British banker that used to be a rock legend. What from your personality were you able to bring to the character?
I feel like Harry gets along with lots of people. He's just a funny guy. He's a nice person, and I feel like that kind of supports me because I like being nice to people and making friends, and life's not all about relationships, and it's about making other people feel good about themselves and to help others in their troubles and to make everyone have a good laugh.
If you could choose one character to play in any theatrical or musical or play, what character would you choose?
Probably Aaron Burr from Hamilton.
I like that answer. Not just because his name is Aaron, but, you know. But what is your favorite musical that you've ever seen or play?
Musical, I really like Hamilton, but as a child I really loved The Lion King because it was one thing I did as a kid in a musical that we never got to do for COVID, but it was a really good part of my life, and it was a really fun time.
So the cast of the musical, they are from a lot of different backgrounds. Like yourself, you're a wrestler, there's basketball players, cheerleaders. There's just every sorts of background that all come together to put this thing on stage. What is special about the cast of musical?
I feel like the cast of musical is, because everyone does sports or does something extracurricular, but the musical is where people come together that have the desire to be in musical, and they're not just there to be in the musical or because someone told them to. They're there to have a good time, and because they have that spark that you have to be on stage and to be able to put forth your talents towards people besides your physical talents.
One final question for you. For anyone that's on the fence about joining musical next year, what advice would you give them?
Advice, try it out. It's a great experience, and not a lot of people, when they start out, like it, but they end up loving it at the very end. So if you don't end up liking it, you can totally not do it, but start out with it. It's a great experience. You learn good skills about helping others and just learning to memorize and do great things on stage that will help you perform the rest of your life.
Want to thank Boston Jolly for being a part of today's show. As you know, these kids all took time out of their school days to sit down and talk to me, so I'm super grateful for that. It also allows me to, learn a little bit more about kids. Sometimes when you get into these athletic interviews and you focus a lot on sports, you get to a little bit about personality-wise, but when you're talking about performance and something that comes from the heart, obviously sports, kids play with heart and passion, but it kind of feels like theater more is from the heart, from like who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that Boston was really able to portray that. And, just the way he danced on stage was totally Boston Jolly, and only Boston Jolly could probably pull that off. So it was a lot of fun getting to see their performance and see how, the little different things they do in between. But we have to take another break, as when we come back, we will hear from Tiny Talon Pepper Pace. More on that later.
If you've never heard a mechanic say they truly care, then you've been at the wrong place. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff is a family-owned and operated business open since 1992. Offering all types of maintenance and repair services, you can be sure your vehicle is operating at its best. Whether your vehicle is older or the newest model, gas or diesel, we fix and maintain them all. Also offering chip repair, windshield replacement, and tires. When your vehicle needs a mechanic, bring it to the ones who truly care. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff.
Founded in 1938 with hopes and dreams of serving the Bridger Valley, Benedict Trading Company was started. Now 85 years and 3 generations later, Benedict's Ace is still serving the Bridger Valley. At Benedict's Ace, you'll find all your home improvement needs. If you're wanting to update the color of your walls, they have all the supplies you need. Changing or fixing your faucet or needing to change out a light fixture can be done with ease. Time to add a backyard paradise? Stop in at Benedict's Ace for all your barbecue, patio furniture, lawn maintenance, and gardening needs. Stop in and visit their friendly staff at 1080 North Highway 414 in Mountain View.
At Reese Auto Service in Lyman, you will find highly skilled mechanics who will get the job done right the first time. They work on anything from light line jobs of tire alignments, suspension work, and oil changes to heavy line jobs of engine replacement, differentials, and all powertrain components. Make sure all your recreational vehicles are working at top speed by getting them checked at Reese Auto Service in Lyman so your time having fun doesn't end early. Reese Auto Service, 541 State Highway 413, Lyman.
When it comes to professional propane service, you can always count on the team at T7 Propane in Woodruff. With a focus on safety, quality product, and excellent service for each customer, you'll always call T7 first. When you work with the professionals at T7 Propane, you're working with the best. For all your propane needs, call T7 Propane in Woodruff, Utah, 435-793-4208.
Welcome back to the My Local Radio student section. We want to send another huge thank you to T7 Propane as well as Jake Major with the Bullock Agency for being a part of today's show. And we want to thank all of our sponsors in general because without you, none of this is possible. And now we are going to hear from Talon Pace, who goes by the nickname Tiny, who played Pepper, and that's where we get the tongue twister on his name of Tiny Talon Pepper Pace. As I said that much more elegantly here than I did the first time, as I fumbled over my words. But it's kind of funny, just getting to know him and the rest of his family and like how he got the nickname Tiny, because go figure, he's a pretty big kid. He's bigger than me, that's for sure. But I guess when he was younger, he was kind of the smallest of all the kids growing up. So they just kind of gave him the nickname Tiny. Go figure, he grows up to be, a really big kid, and another kid that was tremendous on the line for the Rebels football team that won the 8-man state title, and just another kid that's super multi-talented and just a great kid. Let's hear from Tiny Talon Pepper Pace.
Here with Talon Pace, who played Pepper in the 2024 edition of the Rich High School musical Mamma Mia. Talon, now that it's over, what are the thoughts that are going through, and are you kind of relieved that it's done?
I was relieved right after because I didn't have to worry about remembering my lines, and then it set into me right after we got done with it, and we're done with what we call a powwow. It was our meeting after, and we were trying to set a date for when we could do our cast party that I would never get to perform with any of the seniors ever again. It set in, and it was actually quite sad for me.
So take me through your character. You played Pepper, who I guess would best be described as flirtatious. So take me through what went into some of the pickup lines, as well as just take me through the character.
So the pickup lines, I don't use pickup lines ever. And
so he says.
I don't. So Beth Woods actually has a full notes page of pickup lines. And before I would go on, I'd be like, Beth, I need your phone. And I'd go through her pickup lines and I'd choose one or two, depending on the scene. And so that's where most of my pickup lines came from. And Pepper, he's this flirtatious 18 to 20-year-old best friend of Sky, and he's just one of the helpers of Donna. He's just there trying to have fun, and he was, I think, born on the island and raised there.
So is there anything that you could take from your personality that you put into the character of Pepper?
I'm very dramatic, and so I put that into Pepper. And with the dance that we did for Does Your Mother Know, it was a lot of like my own flair I did with it. And I always made these faces, which I do all the time anyway. Like, I wink all the time, and it's something that I put into that character.
If you could choose one musical or play, it doesn't matter. If you could choose one performance that you would love to do for next year, what would that be?
That's a hard question because I've always loved the musical Hairspray, but I don't know if we could do that here just with our representation of the different races. But one that I would love to do is either High School Musical or Grease again, because my older brother starred in both of those, and I had fun memorizing his lines with him.
What would you say your favorite production is?
My favorite production that I've ever seen is Hamilton or a musical called Six.
One final question for you. Give me a couple memories that you'll have that you can share with the general public that you'll have from this musical.
From this musical, one of my favorite memories that I'm always going to keep is we had Easton Eborn do our speech for our final show, and he started to sound like a preacher. So that was very fun. And also Beth Woods and I, we stayed after to help clean up backstage after the musical was over, and we were sitting in the stands from like 11:30 till midnight just reminiscing on all the musicals that we've been a part of together.
Want to thank Talon Pace for being a part of today's show. We also want to send another thank you to Peyton Clough, Easton Eborn, and Boston Jolly, all for being a part of today's show. As unfortunately, it's a bit shorter of a show today. We kind of had some things pop up that, just haven't happened out of the blue. And, we're grateful that we're able to do this. We're grateful that we're able to put a spotlight on these students because, they have a lot more personality than they show when, you see them on a basketball floor. It's really hard to gauge a kid's personality and who they are just by how they shoot a jump shot. And just being able to do this stuff allows you to really see into some of these kids' personalities and how great of kids they are.
Absolutely. And also when you talk about Talon Pace and how, he's such a big kid, you would think, oh, that kid's just an athlete. He's not going to be a part
more
of
than that. Yeah,
he's not going to be part of a theater production. Well, he is. He's these kids have so many talents and they're just all around and just great people.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Rich High School is that a lot of times your athletes are also in the musical, and a lot of times your musical is also in the band or wrestling or athletes, and I take that back, or athletes as well. Not that I didn't mean that for that to come out that wrestlers aren't athletes. They're incredible athletes as well. But just trying to run down the list of like things that all of these kids do. It's crazy, and a lot of these kids are going to graduate with associate's degrees by the time they're done at Rich High School. So I mean, there's a lot of outstanding things that are happening at Rich High School, and we're just so happy that we can bring that to you from Rich as well as the other schools that we cover. We can't forget about them. I know it's a little bit of a Rich centric show today, and that's just kind of because of the way things have played out over the week, and that's why it is that way. But it's been exciting getting to know all of the kids from around the schools.
Yeah, and I can speak as well from Mountain View and Lyman. You just learn these kids' personalities and what they like to do in their free time through some of the questions. And I usually ask a question of like, if there's a dream vacation spot, where would you like to go to? And like some of the kids, you can just see like just a glimmer in their eyes, just like go wide, like they want to travel the world. Yeah. And then they got to think about it, like, well, I want to go here and here and here, and and just all that type of stuff. And you can see that personality in them, and it's amazing to see because usually when we do these broadcasts, you just see him as an athlete. You see him spiking a volleyball, catching a touchdown pass, hitting a game-winning jumper, and it's much, much more than that.
Absolutely, and that is all the time we have today for the My Local Radio student section. I'm Aaron Poling.
Anthony Colasuno.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, go UNT County.